Hey guys, I went to the pass holder preview yesterday on opening day at Universal Studios Orlando, and I learned a lot of things that I wanted to come on here really quick and share with everybody. This isn't going to be a very exciting video, but it will be informative, hopefully, based upon my experience. I don't know if other people had different experiences yesterday, but there were some really important points that I wanted to let other people know before they go so they don't run into the same issues, hopefully, as we did. The very first thing, the most important that I'll start off with, and then I'll kind of go in a little bit better of an order, but the most important thing is you have to have that Universal app on your phone. I know they have a separate one for Florida and California, so don't make that mistake. I actually did the first time, so hopefully you don't. So you'll want to download that app. And the very most important thing that you need to know is most of the best rides are virtual line. That virtual line does not open until the park opens, and it is full by 1 minute after the park opens. So if the park opens at 9 o'clock, you already need to have that app open to whatever ride you want to go on the most and start a virtual line on that. I was doing the virtual line while we were running into the park, and then there was no reason to be running because Hagrid's was the ride that we were looking for most, and their virtual line, all these times were popping up and I'm pushing on it and it was error because everybody was doing the exact same thing. We finally got a virtual line for 4 o'clock. After so many errors, I was like, let me just pick the last time that they have, because probably everybody's trying to pick the closest time, right? So I got a 4:10 virtual line slot for Hagrid's motorbike, and by 4 o'clock, as some of you may know, Hagrid's breaks down about 25 times a day. The park closed at 5, so when it broke down literally right before our time slot at 4, they decided to that it probably wouldn't open back up before the park closed, but they did let people stand in line for it by that point, which was ridiculous, and that line was super long. So if you can get an earlier time slot for, that would be recommended. Also, I know that the Hogwarts Castle ride, theirs had a virtual line, but they also had an actual line in the morning time, but they changed that within hours to virtual only. So everything is kind of I don't know if it'll be like that on a normal day or if it was just because they're just doing their test runs and stuff like that and trying to figure out what works. But I can tell you that first thing in the morning, I did those virtual lines, and I couldn't get a virtual line for the Hogwarts Castle ride. So I went over there and asked them if they had a regular line, and she was like, yeah, sure. It was a 5-minute, it said 5-minute wait on the sign, but it probably was 15 minutes. I don't think that based upon the max capacity that they have, that any lines that have actual lines could be that long, but I don't know. So that's the most important thing. You have to have your app so that you could do the virtual line and have that virtual line open right when park opens. Even if you're not at the park, I would have it open and be trying to get in the virtual line. I know that the Universal app does, follow your location, so hopefully they still allow you to get in that line even when you're not there. But that was the biggest downfall for us. It caused us to not be able to ride a bunch of rides yesterday.
Coverings do need to remain on over your nose and your mouth whilst you're here with us today. And make sure you are practicing safe social distancing by staying at least 6 feet or 2 meters away from other parties in your area.
So let me start from the beginning now, since I got that most important part on there. I just know that this isn't going to be a very fun video. It's going to be more informative, so I wanted to make sure that before you click away, you had that part. I watched the town hall meeting, or whatever it's called, for Universal's plans to open, and so I knew kind of what to expect and was looking for certain things. Their parking, first of all, they were trying to do spaced out. So when we pulled in, like, they parked us every other row. By the time I went to pick up my car, though, it was not every other row anymore. I don't know if that matters to anybody. I just, was comparing what they said based upon what was actually happening. So there's that. You do have to have a face mask to enter the park. You have to wear it all the time. There will be workers that tell you, that say something to you if not. I know there was one point when we were getting on a ride that the guy in front of us had his mask pulled down below his nose, because we were on the Gringotts ride, which is 3D, and your mask fogs up your glasses. Like, I don't know how to get around that. I know how with normal glasses to just, put your nose part under your glasses, and then it causes it not to be an issue. But with the 3D glasses, that's not an option because of the way that they sit. So I understand why he had his nose out, but the worker was like, no, you cannot do that. It must be worn correctly above your nose. You do have to wear them throughout the park. There's a few spots that they told us of, that a worker kindly came up and let us know that you could take your mask off. I only saw one place, though. He said that there was 3. I only saw one that was actually had a sign that said you can take your masks off here. It was a pretty small area right out front of Universal Studios Park, in front of Hard Rock. That area you can go pull down your mask, get a little bit of fresh air and stuff like that. You obviously can take off your mask when you're eating, and stuff like that in the restaurants, but other than that, it's supposed to be worn at all times in the park, on the rides, everything like that. They did take our temperature whenever we were walking in, before we even got to the metal detectors. They had extra hand sanitizer things throughout the park, and right before you entered, right before they took your temperature, there was a thing of hand sanitizer. You were supposed to sanitize your hands. Also, right before you get on any ride, there is a worker that will sanitize your hands before you get on the ride. After you've waited in line and right before you're about to get on the ride, they're right there pumping some hand sanitizer in your hands. Honestly, I think that's wonderful that they do that, but I did notice that they don't sanitize the seats between people and everything, so it's kind of redundant in that. I mean, you don't just carry Corona on your hands. So that, is a little weird, but obviously they haven't come up with a way to do that quick enough, maybe. I don't know. What else? If you didn't bring a mask too, they said that they would give you a disposable mask, and also obviously Universal took that opportunity to make masks. So I did notice that they had a couple different designs for sale for $6 a piece, or I think it was 3 for $15. I didn't really pay too much attention to that. I do know that one was $6 for sure. I already had a mask made for it and everything, so I didn't pay a lot of attention to that. When you are waiting in line, they do have markers for between 6 to 10 feet apart for everyone to stand. So that was really good. That was nice. Everybody seemed to be following that protocol. I don't know if that'll change when more people start coming, and I imagine that those stickers on the ground aren't going to last for that long. I know the stickers on the ground at Walmart didn't last longer than 3 days before they started peeling up. So I don't know how long Universals will last. All the food that you buy does have to be ordered on the app as well. They don't give you the option to go inside and order most places. I know Three Broomsticks, we had to order online. We also ate at Louis, and we had to order online for that. And then you wait in line to go inside and eat. Starbucks was not an online thing. That was just a line. But most of those places are online ordering only. But you still do dine in. So you order online and then they bring you to a table and they ask you what was your confirmation number. I think those are the main things that you'll want to know. Mainly just that virtual line thing. And there was a couple of rides too that they didn't open until later. The Hulk didn't open until later. I don't know if they were having some issues with it or what on that. The Mummy, they were having issues, I guess, with their virtual line at first, but by noon when we got to them, she said, oh, they just opened virtual line, so go ahead and reserve a spot. It's virtual only now and everything like that. So hopefully this helps you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time. Be safe out there. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll try to answer them. Yeah, have fun. Bye.